happening, people? How we doing? What's good, guys? What's happening? Just waiting for a few more heads to roll in. How we doing this evening? Does the sound, is it everything all good on the sound? Yeah, man. What's happening? What's happening, guys? What's good? Pattern watchers, where you at, man? We got a few heads in the room already. Mad love to all of you coming through, man. All the new people, all new subscribers, what's happening? All the pattern watchers from day one. Where are my day ones? Wicked. Our Taz. What's happening, bro? Wicked, wicked. I know, Jason. Do you remember? Do you remember those days when the streams had like 100 people in? And we'd kick back 6-hour streams, man, like it was nothing. You know? Yeah, I know the voice needs a little bit more of a rest. We got tomorrow, but then Tuesday the hunt begins. That's what it is. We're going to roll out and have that question, Casey. Don't worry, man. Wicked, wicked. It's all good, man. PC Shed, what's happening, man? Wicked. Greg, all the new people rolling in. Mad love and respect to all of you, man. Thank you very much, Terry. Discord is good. I know the Discord is good, man. It's run by the guys, the moderators in there, man. You know, got to show love to them. Mike Dutch, Pershaw, Scorpio, Bitcoin Spartan, you know, B-Man, all the guys that are in there, man. Sack Trades, all you guys, man, you're holding it down in the Discord, preventing me from losing my mind in there as well. I have this tendency to just go all out in the Discord. I get told that I can't, you know, I can't spend too much time in there. Okay then, okay then. All right then, okay, cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of evening, day, wherever you are in the world, okay? When we do the levels on Sunday, all right? The levels we're talking about tonight are the psychological levels for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. But we're going to discuss something in particular tonight about price action. And I've just got a feeling that history may repeat itself. Sinus, what's good, man? Thank you very much for joining, my friend. Thank you very much. Okay, then. Let's roll with the flavor. For anybody new passing through to the stream, mad love and respect for you, man. And to all my pattern watchers, welcome to Traders Reality. My name is Tino. Let's have a conversation, guys. Okay, then. Cool. I'm going to be looking at the charts right now, so forgive me if I'm not looking at the chat itself. But let's actually just discuss what has been going on. Right. So, in front of you, this was a move by Bitcoin that happened on the 7th of September. And if everyone is familiar with it, we are talking in reference to the El Salvador drop. Now, remember, this is when price and the optimism of Bitcoin was at its highest. When El Salvador made Bitcoin legal tender. I mean, what great thing would that be? Yeah? How amazing is it to be told that Bitcoin now is legal tender in El Salvador? Now, okay, El Salvador is not a massive population, but the adoption itself is going to be great news for the coin. So why on earth did this happen? I'll tell you why it happened. Because market makers had given away the clue. 3 hits to the high. They induced traders. They allowed them to move price up to the upside. And then they just completely attacked the range and pulled all the liquidity from that zone. Why on earth would price drop on great news? Baffles me at times. So, before we come back to this, let's have a look at what's been going on with Bitcoin so far. All right? Now, I'm looking at the 8-hour chart. Now, what I like to do, ladies and gentlemen, is the following. I like to start from the daily to establish where we are in terms of price action itself. All right? So, if we zoom out and we look at it from the bigger time scale, So it looks like Bitcoin's come from this big W formation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember this. Always, always have this approach when you come to the charts. All right? Especially when it's time for the start of a new week. All right? Always go back. Because on Friday, we had this information. Okay? Now we have to come back to the basis of where the pattern started from. When this move to the upside started. All right? Always come back to the base. So you can understand where we are in light of the formation. So, big W formation, price moves to the upside. We've got a retrace down level 1. We expect another cyclical move to the upside. So we get that. Rise level 2. Now, price has pulled back quite aggressively. All right. And the pin itself, if I move this, you can see it's come straight down to this point right here. So in other words, it stayed within the formation of level 1 and the peak formation as well. Okay. So it's quite a deep move to the downside. Now it does tend to, if it did break below the level 1 zone, it would have been a reset in the pattern. Okay. But the fact that it actually stayed within the peak formation is good news for us. All right. Now remember, I don't have a bias to direction. My goal is to try and capitalize on momentum and wherever that momentum appears. Remember guys, if you are stuck with a bias to direction, you will reflect that bias in your trading. And if you believe Bitcoin's going to go up and price is not going up, yet you're going around looking at articles, resources of people hyping up the idea that Bitcoin's going to move up, you will probably be married to that trade. And you will stay married to that trade and you will be divorced from it on the payday. And that payday is to the market maker, not to yourself. All right. Do not be married to any trade. All right. See every trade. Forgive my explicit ways. Okay. But see every trade as a one night stand. In, out, done, finished. See you later. That's how it works. That's as brutal as I can get it to put it into your minds. Okay? This is the nature of trading. You're either in to get money and leave, or you're here to provide it for the trader who's disciplined enough to pay himself when the time is right. All right? That's what I need to get across to as many of you as possible. Always, always pay yourself, because you can be on the other side of those traders who are complaining about getting wrecked. Or you can be on the other side of traders who are welcoming the traders that do get wrecked, because remember, one man's fun is another's hell. It's a zero-sum game. Someone has to lose in order for someone else to get paid. That's the game of trading. And you have a bit of a problem accepting that. Do not trade. Okay? Now, Bitcoin's come all the way down sharply to the start of the level 1 rise, but it's now sharply moved back up. All right? What we are waiting for Bitcoin to do right now, ladies and gentlemen, which does put things into a little bit of a problematic situation. Price may actually recover this wick. All right? And this is what I mean about going back in time. Look on the 8-hour chart. Look at this. Last time Bitcoin dropped down and created a wick or a candlestick similar to what we saw at the weekend, on Friday, sorry, they came down, slowly recovered it, okay? And there was this humming and ahhing as to whether or not Bitcoin was going to break away from this zone. It came back up and recovered 50% of the vector candle, but then it came back down again and tested this key notable area right here. And then it formed the pattern, and then it decided to make the move to the upside. What I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, is, are we going to see the same thing happen? Is this pattern going to present itself again over here? That's the thing. Because if it does come down lower, it will go beyond the moving averages, and that's on the 8-hour time frame. If I roll onto the daily time frame, you can see that the 800 EMA on Bitcoin is just about printed. There's not been that much on Bitcoin. This will be a wild zone for them to bring price back down to on the daily chart. But it doesn't mean that it can't. You can see that we've got two pools of liquidity right here. We've got the wick. So I'm going to get rid of this pattern right here. We've got the wick right here, ladies and gentlemen. And this weekend, they've done a good job of making sure not to recover most of it. Now, two ways you can see it, because this is where we are. They're either going to recover all of this wick in one motion, or they're going to take their time and drift price downwards and then formulate a pattern in this range so that they can then start making a move back up. But then what's to say that they are going to move back up? What if they're not finished with building the longs? This is the thing that we need to understand. Yeah? Drop down on the lower time frame so we can understand how is this move starting to play out. You can see bright as day that they've actually just come away from the zone and thrown off the moving averages. This move is like an anomaly in the chart. It's just happened out of nowhere. All right? Look at the moving averages themselves. They've barely budged. Now, looking at the way price is behaving right now, guys, okay? Price is likely to come back up towards the 50 EMA. And this is what I'm expecting from them. Because if they're going to come back to the 50 EMA, or they're going to stall and keep moving price in this direction, right? They will then encourage the 50 EMA to start coming closer and closer to price, and we will be back to the same position as we were over here. When price done exactly the same here, and then they drifted it and then came up towards the 50 EMA and flattened out. Yeah? This is where we are. This is what the potential scenarios of what we are expecting. To simply say to you, yes, it's going to go down, that would be a bold statement, and that would be reckless on my behalf. I need to give you both instances because there are people that are watching the stream that are holders. There are people that are watching the stream that are day traders. All right? So the day traders are going to look for the momentum to the upside or to the downside. The holders are going to try and work out the best point in the chart where they can start accumulating Bitcoin with the anticipation of seeing it moving higher in the future. Right now, we have got an anomaly in the chart. The moving average. We are expecting a mean reversion. They need to bring it back into the fray. Because if they wanted to continue to bring price down lower, they would have done it over this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. They would have had us in the zone. All right? Let me have a look at your questions here. It looks like a bear flag, but it won't be. I will not cover your eyes with wool or mislead you in any way. Okay? What's going on? What are you guys talking about here? My grandma left me 18 Bitcoin. Is that a lot? A little bit. Okay, then. What we got here? Bitcoin upward. Okay, then. Cool. So you're asking that question. Frogs B, yeah? The CME gap. Let me get this gap thing, man, because people are talking about this CME gap. Where is it? Oh, what's the chart for the CME gap? Is it on here? What's the chart ticker for that? Am I looking at it? I don't even look at the CME gap, to be honest with you guys. Where are we at? Let me go back to this. All right, then. It's going to hit 40k, then a massive run. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's actually have a look at where the orders are sat. All right? That's what's important. Because we can make as much of an assumption as we want. Because I know there are not many people at all using this software. Not many people. All right? I'd say there is not even... I know one other person that uses this in the crypto space. All right? One other person. That is it. I'm just waiting for it to load up. All right, then. Here we go. Going to get the book map ready for you guys. Oh, got to get the GPU set up. Should see it pop up right now. Come on, here we go. Happy days. Roll out, GPU. Let's go. Okay, then. So whilst that's loading up there. Okay. In front of you, ladies and gentlemen, we are waiting for the orders for... Let's unsubscribe to that. Bitcoin. I'm waiting for the limit orders to come in. All right. There we go. So this is the book map. Now, for anybody that is new to the channel, this is a platform. So if you want this platform after I finish explaining it, just go to Google, type in bookmap.com, and happy days, you can download it. You get a premium version or a free version. But what it does is it gives you the active live limit orders being filled in Bitcoin. Now, I've got a bit of a different chart. I've got a multi-book. So I have all the limit orders, the limit buys and the limit sells. Sorry, limit sales and limit buys across 5 platforms. So it's Bitstamp, Binance, FTX, GDAX, and Kraken. Now I'm waiting for it to finalize and upload everything, upload the data. But the principle is that these red levels here are where the limit sales are. That's where high liquidity is. And up here, there's more high liquidity. Right here is the number of Bitcoin that is currently being purchased as we speak. So you can see we've got big orders right here, 84 and 83. And frankly, ladies and gentlemen, that's nothing. That is not a lot of Bitcoin, which tells you there's very little volume. So price can go absolutely any direction. Normally on a Monday, anything from Tuesday all the way through to Thursday, on average, you're witnessing about 150 to about 500-600 Bitcoin being purchased at certain levels in the chart. Now you can see we've got 215 Bitcoin right here. All right, so let me expand the chart. The book map is imbalanced minus 25%, which tells me that the book map itself, the order book, is favoring limit sales. So they are encouraging to move price higher. All right. Now, to simply just look at this and make the assumption that, yeah, it's going to hit 50K and you place orders and think that that's it now, Bitcoin's going to hit 50K, that will be a bold move. And that'll be quite reckless as well, because that's not always the case. What you need to do is you need to study this and watch it, because it doesn't always stay red. This is what I've come to understand about it. Which my interpretation of it is this. If it's red in the first instance, that tells me there's high liquidity. But then you pay attention to it, you can see it starting to change color. And the brighter it gets, so if it starts turning yellow, all right, it tells me that they're taking off the liquidity. What also helps is if you pay attention to this 215 right here. This 215, if it stays 215, all right, then we know that there is a big order right there wanting to absorb 215 Bitcoin in the order book. All right, that's what we need to be aware of. So you can see earlier, right there, it was blue a moment ago. Now it's filled as yellow. So it's like volume now starting to come in and around this range. Now you can see in these areas here, these are yet to be filled. You can see you got cancellations here, some cancelled orders right there. So the idea is to install limit orders to induce traders to commit the liquidity for it so they can move price up or down. That's the principle of this. Now everyone is expecting this, yeah. Everyone is expecting this wick to get recovered. All right? Everyone is expecting it to get recovered. And quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, if I look at where we are with terms of liquidity, we're starting to see 42. This is the justification for the liquidity of that wick. We've got 46. We've got 42. So look at this. 527 Bitcoin at 42K. 43 is hardly any liquidity there, but there's 365 Bitcoin orders. All right? 45K has 359 and 46, 695. All right? And that's me zooming right out. We look up above, what can we see? 718 orders of Bitcoin at 70K. Now, if you go back in the previous streams, you would have noticed that the 70K zone always had this red liquidity line, which people were just keeping their liquidity there, hoping that price was going to fill that zone. Well, they've taken it off now, ladies and gentlemen. They may have moved it down lower now. Look, 60K has got 497 Bitcoin, but all the liquidity is in this range between the 40K mark and the 50 zone. So we now have to translate that information in relation to the chart itself and try and establish what are we likely to expect. Are they going to hold price in this range right here, which would then give us the understanding that price is going to probably come back up towards the 50 EMA. But remember, the 50 EMA doesn't stay static up there, ladies and gentlemen. For every candlestick that prints, it moves down. Now, what's my concern is if it does move down, price ends up here, and so does the 50 EMA. It's not been a reversion back to the 50. It's the 50 reverting to price, not price going to the moving average. In other words, it's not filling this gap right here where the imbalance is. This is where the imbalance sits, guys. You want them to try and fill that imbalance as soon as possible. Look on the smaller time frames to help you understand. Look at this. Here's an imbalance. So Bitcoin takes a stab to the downside. They revert straight back. They bring back into the balance. That's what you're looking for. What you don't want is price to just slowly drift back in and it will match up with the 50 EMA. That's not what you want. You want this. Look how massive deviation away from the 50, and then they slowly drifted price, but then the 50 EMA came some close to it, and then that wasn't that much of a deviation, was it? They didn't really revert back to the means. The mean came back to price, not price going back to it. Do we get that? It's Bitcoin C. Okay, let me get that checked out. Hold on. Bitcoin C1, yeah? Which one? The top one. I've got different versions. Which one's the best one to get? Can you tell me? Buy the trend was... Oh, God. Buy the dip. Which one was it? Top one, yeah? Happy days. Top one, yeah? Okay, cool. Wicked. Nah, this can't be it. Is this it? BTC1, go to... What's the ticker symbol? Oh, gotcha. BTC1. Is it stock? No, it's not stock. What's it on? On futures, 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 futures. Okay, here we go. Boom. Wonderful. All right, here we go. Well, the gap's been filled. The gap's been filled, but here's the quick... Look at this, guys. Look. This is the gap, yeah? This is why sometimes I don't refer to it. This is the gap. Cool. Let me split the chart. Now let me get Bitcoin up. Time frame, CME. Where was that move? This was on the 26th of November. There it is. So this is where price was right here. Okay, this is the same range, right? It's the same pattern. There's a gap there, but there's a vector candle right there. Okay, just look what they did. They came straight back to it. Same place. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm all right, Cass. How you doing? Are we talking about a bigger gap? Okay, let me get the bigger gap up. I've not looked at this chart because I will always revert to the vector candles. If there is a gap in play in something, if you're going to see, look, the CME Bitcoin futures itself, they don't trade 24/7. So I've already got a backlog of information. I'll always have to be looking at the chart that is trading in real time because that's going to tell me the difference between it. See, when this happened, obviously the price was closed at that point. That's when the futures closed. Okay, then the gap up led to it. So any after sale, after market, you can, some institutions get access to trade after market hours. You're guaranteed they fill in their longs in here, man, in anticipation of a gap up based on what was going on here. This Friday's gap. This Friday's gap. I don't see a gap, guys. Am I seeing it correctly? There's the Friday's gap. Gap 53,675. CME does not open for another bit, so price is expected to return to it when it closed on Friday. CME closed at 53,500. CME closed at 53,500. So where on earth is this gap that people are talking about? Is it on smaller time frame? 33, 21, 19, 11, 9K. Well, I'll tell you what, those gaps right there, okay? Here's something for you then, because I ain't going to do it here, but something for you. The gaps, the gentleman's just put down, the CME gaps are at 33,000, 25,000, 21,000, 19, 11, and 9. That's where the CME gaps are at. Take the CME chart and then bring up the other chart. All right, for every gap that you see in the chart, there'll be a vector candle within that gap. There will be a vector candle within that gap because that's what caused the gap. The gap was an influx of orders at that point in time before the market opened or after the market closed. Do you understand what I'm saying? I will always stick to this chart right here. I will always stick to the main chart because that's where I'm getting the live feed continuously. Okay? Right. Now that that's done. Back to the patterns and the cycles. Here we go. Now, if you remember last week, ladies and gentlemen, I said to you guys to keep your psychological levels of Bitcoin. Keep them on the chart from last week. And let's see what they have for us this week. All right? Now, if knowledge serves me correctly, last week's psychological levels, guys. Let me just get them up for us. At the community post. Last week's psychological levels are right here. Okay, no. 2 weeks ago. Nah, bro, that's not right. Did I do them? 5 days ago? Come on, man. You didn't do 13 days ago, bro. What's going on here? 13 days ago. That's not right. Okay. Never mind. Psychological high for Bitcoin, psychological low. I need to make sure that they match up with the ones on MT4. All right? So I need to make sure they match up the same. So psychological high for Bitcoin is 49,748. And that is 49,706. Okay, so there's a little bit of a difference in price, but that also could include the spread. All right, so we'll go off. I'm going to go off MT4. I'm always going to go off MT4, but let me give you these levels right here. Okay? Let me give you these levels so we can get on with what I want to talk about next. So, psychological high for Bitcoin. If you are new to the channel, guys, get a trend line on TradingView or on MT4 and mark off these psychological levels on the chart. If you've got access to these indicators, you'll get hold of the psychological levels on TradingView as well. But if you don't, make your way over to the website. All right, Traders Reality website, and go to the tab Start Here. First things first, and then get it. All the information you need is right here. You can download the hybrid system tools, and you can get the add-ons as well. Psychological levels, they're all there for you. And any questions, just make sure you just roll into the Discord and have a conversation there. Okay, I've pinned it to the top of this chat, the access to the website. All right, they're all free to access, guys. So let's do this. Psychological high for Bitcoin. Get a trend line and draw it across the chart. So for whatever it is. So we've got 49,000. Where is it? 49,748. That's the psychological high for Bitcoin. All right. So do that. Psychological high is 49,743 on here. And then psychological low is 48,357. The problem with this is what? It's very tight. The range is very tight, which tells me that because the range is so tight, tells me that they're actually building a lot of positions in this range. Usually when the psychological levels are wide, all right, we're trying to establish a clear direction from them. And it might take a little while for them to get to the psychological high or the psychological low, all right? What we need to be aware of is the tighter the range, the bigger the explosion of the move away from this range. Now, that's either going to be above the psychological high or below the psychological low. All right? Because if you look at it from here, you can see that what they've done is they've taken the first high. This is what the psychological ranges are. It's the first high and the first low that is established at the start of a new trading week. All right, in cryptocurrency. Remember, cryptocurrency trades 24/7. So the start of a new week, okay, is 4th of December at 9 p.m., given with daylight saving, what have you, wherever you are in the world. All right? They take the first high and the first low. In this range, this is where they are establishing the positions, whether they are building longs and building shorts. So they set the spread for the rest of the week. These levels will print out across the whole chart. And if you don't have them, just simply get a trend line and just leave it on your chart for the rest of the week and pay attention to what price does at these zones. For every time it comes up to hit it and pulls away from it, it's a strong psychological area. It's not no TikTok trend lines, guys. These are solid ranges by the market maker. They set the high and they set the low. That's what they base it on at the start of every week. And they do something in these areas. If you notice last week's psychological ranges, when they came towards the psychological low and then they completely pulled away from that point, that led to this mad move to the downside. Okay? Now, another thing as well. When stocks dropped and, you know, Bitcoin dropped, it doesn't matter, guys. All right? I'm not going to say that the reason why Bitcoin dropped is because the stocks dropped. They were preparing for this drop. They just needed a catalyst. And that's what I'm trying to get into your minds. You need to come away from the idea of thinking that Bitcoin's going to follow something. It's all catalysts. It's all catalysts. There's no, oh my goodness, the stocks are dropping. We need to get everything out of Bitcoin. It's just a catalyst. You don't think they know about the liquidation points beforehand? You think they come to them as surprise? Everyone's been talking about all the liquidation points that happened within 2 hours. Trust me, if you saw that much money as a market maker and a broker, and you were aware of how much money was sitting there dead in the charts because retail traders will not pay themselves, trust me, you're going to take any opportunity to move price as quick as you can. Yeah? There we go. Okay, so Bob Mo, we've got this Evergrande FUD coming in. Well, the Evergrande FUD beforehand didn't really do anything to Bitcoin. Bitcoin was rising during that madness. Okay? Now, China's obviously trying to come away from cryptocurrency, so whatever China says about cryptocurrency can't really have an effect on cryptocurrency anymore. You know? Remember, guys, it's all catalysts. They don't care about the news. Bitcoin, there's no information that is released on Bitcoin, all right, that's going to affect economies. Like, for example, dollar yen, the non-farm payrolls, that's going to have an effect on the US economy. That's going to have an effect on the US dollar, all right? CPI index, all of these financial reports that come out about the dollar have an effect on the dollar. There's nothing on Bitcoin. Okay, we've got the glass node. That's all we can get. On-chain analytics. That's really all we have. And who's buying it and who's selling it. That's the information we've got about Bitcoin. All right? This chart in front of you is the net unrealized profit and loss for those who are holding Bitcoin in trades, wallets, you name it. Right now, it's getting very close towards anxiety. We are now at the point of anxiety. Traders are feeling anxious. Yeah? Feeling very anxious. Are we going to lead into optimism? Is price going to try and come back up? Or are we going to go straight into fear? And is there still money to be had? Because this chart right here, when you look at the bigger picture of things, look at it. I'll say it again. When Bitcoin was at its highest point, traders were the most greedy and euphoric. That's where it always turns, because that's where the market maker has trapped the most amount of liquidity, and he comes back and hits all those liquidation points. And funnily enough, liquidation points triggers the capitulations in price. Yeah? Capitulations is when there's loads of orders that have been sold off at a loss. And for every capitulation point that appears, it always turns and moves back up. But look where we are right now. We've not seen no euphoric behavior, no greed, and Bitcoin has gone way beyond. It made an all-time high. The last all-time high that they had with Bitcoin, where it was euphoric and traders were feeling greedy was when Bitcoin was, what price? 15K. Yeah. 20K. That's when Bitcoin, when trader sentiment was at a greedy state and they were feeling very euphoric about the profits that they had in the chart. That was at 15K, but not at 67. Why? What's going on with that? Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, if you draw diagonal trend lines, then we've hit the top of that NFP already. Check it. Draw a diagonal trend line on the top of the peaks. Can't really draw a trend line on top of the peaks, but I'm going to do that, bro. I will do that. I will check that out. Okay, then. Back to charting. So, listen, guys. My advice to you is to avoid trading these sort of ranges. Okay? Come away from these ranges. I'm going to go to Ethereum next. Come away from the idea of having to try and force trades when price ain't doing anything. We can only expect them to do one of two things. All right? I'm not seeing much liquidity being placed at these areas in the chart. The range daily high and the range daily low are quite close to each other. It's Monday tomorrow, so we could see a false move at the start of the week. Where's that false move going to take price? They could bring price down lower to recover this wick and recover this previous liquidity down here, try and formulate a base, and then try and come up. All right? The book map itself is giving us a reason to believe that there is a lot of liquidity in and around the 40K zone. 223,000, 1,500. Yes, about 2,000 Bitcoin in this area between 40K and 50. 2,000 Bitcoin has hit the limit book, the order book itself. At what point are they going to trigger that? See, the idea is just because there's 2,000 in this range doesn't mean that it's all going to get filled from this point here all the way down to here. It could actually come down to 46 and it could stabilize, and limit buys would then keep price in this range, which would then force the traders down here to move their limit orders further up to get filled. All right? Remember, what does the market maker want the retail trader to think? What is he going to make him do to commit to the chart? All right? Big orders just coming through there. How many? Volume at 8.5. Not that much, to be fair. Yeah, book map is ghost orders. I understand. Spoofs, that's what it's about. Because they want... Be careful, man. Okay, maybe that's they're going to dump price before the daily close. Guys, Mondays are notorious for false moves. The last false move that we saw on a Monday was over here on the 1 hour time frame. It was a couple of weeks ago. Where was it? Here it is. Yeah, this was the false move on Monday. All right, so on the 15th of November, everyone was expecting Bitcoin to try and make another attempt to the upside. But what had actually happened is Bitcoin recovered the vector candle here. 50% of the vector candle failed and then dropped. Deviation away from the 50 EMA, they moved price back to the 50, not the 50 back to price. Big difference. Stop hunt rise, dropped. They moved price down lower. Now remember, guys, we are completely out of this cyclical range right now. We are in what would look like, on the 1 hour time frame, preparing for another pattern. We could see another pattern. Now, the pattern itself could be quite deep. Okay, just check this out. Got a W formation right here. What it does at this point right now is really important because it can either come back down, recover the previous wick, at least 50% of the wick itself, and then formulate a base and then try and come back up. It can even come as low as yesterday's low and completely fill the wick. I would be more satisfied with price completely recovering this wick and bouncing away from it, rather than seeing them just drifting price down ever so slightly, finalizing in this range right here, moving up, inducing the traders to step in again, and then we see a mad move to the downside to just take advantage of the traders that came and got committed in this area here, because half of YouTube is expecting Bitcoin to hit 100K anytime soon. Trading is impressionable, guys. If everyone follows the herd mentality, then everyone's going to get slaughtered like the herd. That's what happens in this game. Why is it that all the liquidations that get hit happen all at once? Because everyone is following the same thing and they're making the same mistake. They believe that when price is rising, it's because buyers are in control. No. If buyers are in control, then buyers are going to be the ones that decide when price turns, because they will stop buying. But the only reason why price turns is because the sellers who are in position to allow the buyer to be in a position to buy stop selling. So who's in control? That challenges a lot of people's stance on economics. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the nature of the game itself. You know? Thank you very much, Gapper. My stance on supply and demand is a little bit different. You know? Let's have a look at Ethereum. I think Ethereum, hands down, is the strongest coin. It is by far the strongest coin, in my opinion. Bit of a wild wick there. I'm hoping tomorrow they actually drop price, quite frankly. Because if they pull away from this zone, this wick right here will be seen. I don't like the idea of them pulling away too much from it, because then it will be a surprise. It will tell me that the move to the upside is going to be very short-lived. I would rather them recover this move as soon as possible, rather than actually, you know, send price higher. Is this one of those bear stands up before he attacks kind of thing? Ideally, I want to see price in this range right here. That's what I want to see. Anja, this is it. This is it. It's not making money if you're leaving it in the chart. Yeah, everyone can share a screenshot of profit open positions, but what about when they're closed, bro? What about closing the trade? There's more victory in seeing the money closed in your balance, rather than just watching it fluctuate up and down thinking it's only going to increase. Nah, man, please. That's why liquidations happen. Just try and understand what liquidations are. People being reckless. And that's the sad truth about it. If you're having to add to your liquidation, all right, your margin, tells me that you don't know your strategy too well. Because you haven't allocated the amount of money that you're prepared to lose and that you're accepting and not changing from. You're not going to change your stop. If you're going to put a stop loss, stick to it at least. Don't keep changing it, because you will keep on feeding that liquidation point. Remember, the market maker is in a position to be as irrational as he wants. You can't afford to be irrational because you don't have the same pocket as the market maker. When you can start matching up liquidity to him, then you don't need to worry about liquidations. Yeah? That's the truth. No one went broke taking a profit, man. 99.7 underground. Thank you very much, bro. ONR. Buyers in charge because they stopped buying? Well, it's because someone stopped selling to them. They can't stop buying. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but they can only buy if someone sells. So who's really in control? The seller or the buyer? Yeah? That's what I'm trying to say. Trying to get you guys to understand the basis of when you see, why does price turn? I'll tell you why it turns. Because the market maker's goal is to trap liquidity. Unfortunately, someone went short right here. That's the truth. Okay? Someone went short in that zone. And the reason someone went short there is because the market maker brought the contract from them. They sold it, market maker brought it. Because the market maker goes long at the lowest point, not the highest. Retail trader goes long when price is rising. Market maker goes long when it's dropping. Because he knows when he's going to send price back above that zone. So the reason why he turns price is because he's trapped enough liquidity to the upside for his shorts at the highest possible point. And if he doesn't turn the direction of price, he will then be giving the retail trader the profit that he's been seeking, and the market maker's not in the game of charity. The market maker will be building his short. So hypothetically, let's assume from this point right here, it's a classic example in Ethereum, all right? Price is rising up. Market maker is building his shorts, Whilst he's building the shorts to the upside, all right, he's keeping an eye on the intention by the retail trader and what he's viewing it as in terms of a move. So what reason does the market maker have to want to get out? Well, price is coming up to a moving average. Now, the retail trader is going to believe that price is going to either break above this zone, and he's going to then try and get committed and ride a move to the upside. Okay, so the market maker gives the retail trader that belief by breaking above the 50 EMA, because people set orders at the moving averages. All right. And that's at this point where the market maker says to himself, okay, we should now turn price because we would have trapped enough longs in this area. And all those longs have got margins and liquidation points in this area, which is what we can use to offload our shorts and build longs at the same time. So what's happened in this area with Ethereum is this. Price has come down aggressively. They've come back to retrace to the 50. My impression is that they're likely to try and pull it back down again and maybe stay in this range, or even just drip down to recover the previous liquidity right here. This is why we could be formulating a pattern. Now, guys, listen, we are always going to have two scenarios because look at where price is. All right. We've come to the 50 EMA. What's next? It's either going to break higher and go higher. What do you want to see? You want to see the 5 and the 13 EMA break above the 50 EMA, price to be above the 50 EMA, and the 5 and the 13 EMA to expand and look like this, yeah? For us to establish momentum to the upside. That's what we're looking for. Likewise, if they do break down from this point, the 5 and the 13 EMA, if you look closely, 5 and 13 EMA will expand and momentum will be to the downside. Now, this is on the 1 hour time frame, and you can see with Ethereum, they're wicking the lows. They're hitting the lows. They favor lower prices right now because they're obviously preparing to try and change the direction at a later stage. My concern is the fact that we've got this wick in the chart. It's an imbalance right there. There's still liquidity here, ladies and gentlemen. There is still liquidity in that zone. And the same goes for Bitcoin. Composite man, you know how it is, bro. You know exactly how it is. Tina, if the institutions don't trade at weekends, who is building these positions now that you speak of? The algorithm. They don't switch anything off. It's the algorithm that is programmed to provide liquidity. Binance doesn't stop at the weekend. FTX doesn't stop at the weekend. No broker stops at the weekend. It's the algorithm that is programmed to fulfill the orders. That's why volume dries up at the weekend. Because it's on the basis that there's not anyone working. You know, banks are closed, hypothetically. All right. And people are just doing their own thing. So they facilitate the trading for people who are trading. And you do get light volume. Sometimes we do see a few coins make a move and volume does come into the charts, maybe on some news announcements. Okay. But it's the algorithms that are rolling out. You know, they got these machine learning setups. Yeah. All right, then. I need to give you the psychological levels for Ethereum as well, ladies and gentlemen, because I know you guys want that. Psychological levels. Here we are. Oh, man, I need to get rid of this stuff. Hold on. Where are my psychological? Here we go. So Ethereum psychological level. Right. So Ethereum psychological high is 4,211. That's the psychological high for Ethereum. And the psychological low is 4,061. Right. For anyone that doesn't have this platform or you haven't got the trading view indicators, go to the website and you can download everything free of charge. If you do have indicators or you want to use it in your own strategy, maybe not so much the hybrid, just get a trend line and take those figures and leave them on your chart. All right? Leave them for the rest of the week and just notice how price behaves around those zones. All right? Cool. All right, MicroStrategy brought 7,000 Bitcoins. Also, they had to get them at a good price. Yeah, okay, look. I understand that, you know, when MicroStrategy are buying, thing is, they told you they've brought 7,000 Bitcoin, but when did they start buying 7,000 Bitcoin? Did they tell you when they started to buy it, or did they just tell you that they brought it? Yeah? How do we not know that they started to buy it here? Do people believe that they started to buy it, which is the reason why price rises? So let me get Bitcoin back up a second. Where's Bitcoin? Where's my Bitcoin chart? There we are. Don't make the mistake of thinking that when price is rising, that's when MicroStrategy is buying. Nah. Yeah? That's what it is. Leo, Tino, I got wrecked this weekend starting with 200 again. What can you advise? Pay yourself. Pay yourself, and stay with 200. That's the best thing you can do. Whatever money you make above your initial balance, take it out, start again. Because if you started from that point and grew your account, there's this psychological element of this amount of money that you started off with. Remind yourself of being in that situation over and over again. And whatever money you started off with, anything above it, take it out, bank it, start again. Because you'll always be in the same position again. You will always come to the chart and looking for an entry with the same amount of money. Don't leave it in there. Take it out. Yeah? Tino, look at Atom. It's about recovery from last night's wick. Let's have a look at Atom. Atom. Is it on? Yeah, let's have Cosmos. Okay, then. So, look, this is great. This is good. I like that. What's happened here. This is what I want to see with Bitcoin. I want to see Bitcoin do this because it's fulfilling the imbalance in the chart. It's hit the range daily low and the range weekly low. It's finalizing the imbalance. So this is where we will understand what's likely to happen next with Cosmos. Looks like they are forming a pattern here. Nice. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for notable volume to appear in this range here, and then a clean break to the upside with confirmation of a follow through. Unfortunately, we've got this area here. So we need to be mindful of that. This is it. Seek truth. That's it. You don't lose money in this market. It's taken. It's transferred. That's what this business model is about. Okay? That's what it's all about. It's moving money from one wallet to another. That's all it is. And that's why I say to you, please, please, pay yourself whenever there is an opportunity for you to pay yourself, because the market will always be present. People keep asking me about this Wyckoff method. The thing is, right, someone put a comment up saying that what I spoke about with price over the past few days played out on the Wyckoff method. Why don't I talk about the Wyckoff method? I don't know. I'm too involved with the idea of understanding the psychology behind what the candlestick is showing me. All right, remember, this is a day trading strategy. My goal as a day trader is to exploit the momentum of price from one point to the next. I'm not about leaving liquidity in the chart. I'm about putting it in, taking it out at the time that I think is right. If I decide to make a longer term play, fine. That's up to me on that strategy. I ain't going to risk as much. You know? That's what it is. Find solid projects, yeah, okay. What's a Y cough method? Pray. Yo. Can you hear me? What a guy. Rug pulled the sound. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Wow. Wow. Come on, guys. Listen. Welcome to the Traders Reality Boomer episode. This is quite something that I'm quite notorious for. You know? Boomer moments. It wouldn't be a stream without a boomer moment, man. I think this is the point where we actually finalize the stream. All right? Finish on a high. Okay? But let me break it down for you one more time, ladies and gentlemen, before I love you and leave you. So here we go. Bitcoin. What we've got is this whole thing about price coming back towards this wick. Now, people are starting to get a bit savvy with the idea that price is going to come back to the wick, but we know it's going to come back to it, but we don't know when. What do we need to look for? First things first, we need to make sure that price does come away from the psychological ranges, which is the psychological low right here. There is a bit of liquidity right here, so they may actually come back down towards it, all right? But just remember, chances of them coming back to this candlestick are very high. Look back in time. Just look back in time and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Where is it? If you go back and watch the previous streams, we were speaking about this wick for quite some time. They came back and recovered it. Bang. To the T. Look at that. They came back down, tapped it. Then we had this wick. They pulled away from the zone because this is what I don't want. They're going to drift price away from the current wick that we're at, and then they're going to come back down towards it. So they're going to trap the traders, because a lot of people right now are stepping into Bitcoin thinking, yeah, that's it. Now we can get it cheaper. Now Bitcoin's going to make the move to the 100K mark. Be careful, guys. All right? Because they can drift price all the way back up, and then they can actually drop it down again. No different to what they did over here. Right here. History repeat itself. Look. Big drop to the downside, stabilize price, come back, recover the wick. Then they move up a little bit more and take out another wick right here. Okay? So just please be mindful of that. Okay? Want me to do Sol? Let me do Sol one more time. Same with Sol, guys. Look. This is on the 1 hour time frame. We just need to look at Sol on the bigger time frame, see where she's at. Right, so Sol hasn't actually hit the 800, and she's actually come back into the previous. See, look, man, she's got some liquidity right there. Wait until Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Thank you very much, JD, man. Mad love to you, bro. Thank you very much. All right? Toilet paper price... Greg, that's the second time I've read that out, bro. All right, listen, guys. I'm going to love you and leave you, man. End it on a high, but I want to thank you all for passing through. If you are new to the channel, be sure to like and subscribe. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are the days where we actually smash it up in the channel and we do the projections. We talk about price. We do 2 streams a day. One to catch the New York session, and then we finalize at 10 p.m. on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night London time, guys. We summarize the market in the evening as well. But guys, mad love and respect to all of you showing love to the channel. Patreons, I'll be doing a video for you very shortly, and I'll be getting that out to you. Mad love and respect to all you guys as well. But other than that, guys, please be safe. Avoid trading on the weekend or on Monday, and that's aimed at the new people as well. Wait till you become proficient in the strategy and understand your behavior in the game of uncertainty, guys, because it's all about eye against eye. That's what it is, man. That's what it is, all right? So mad love to you guys. God bless all of you. Show some love, and I will catch up with you later on, all right? Take care of yourself, guys, and I'll speak to you soon. See you in a bit.